most of the time, 99% of the time, and that should be the ratio. 99% to 1% should be giving value and helping people now, and the 1% should be trying to take what you deem as yours. I think as soon as you get into the realms of like 50-50 even, it's not going to work out for you. What's up, guys? Rich here. Thanks for tuning in to the 2610 podcast, where me and the boys talk about how you can use content the right way to grow and scale your business. If you find this episode useful, then please share with a fellow entrepreneur, marketer, founder, or anyone else who might also get some value from it, and let's all grow together. With that said, let's jump straight into it.
In your opinion, what are the basics of good video content?
Being ready. I'm just itching my ear here, which probably isn't going to make for a very good video. It's just basic stuff, you know. But I think still itchy. Good, like the basics of good video content: lighting first, sound first, lighting second, and then just having a good message. I think don't overthink it as well. Just the message, I think, is the most important thing. And what I mean by the message is like people start video, and I was the same, and I think you were the same, and probably 99% of people were the same. When you get into video, you're like trying to make it cool looking, you're trying to make it the amount of videos that I've shot and edited, and it's like, I mean, even looking back now, I'm like, this looks shit, but at the time I'm like, this looks insane. And it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't have any sort of meaning. I remember when I started first picking up a camera, I was like trying to make like a short film and stuff. Kind of embarrassing to say now, really, but I took so long, like just going around and getting all the little micro shots and stuff, because I thought it was going to look really cool. And we got halfway through it, and I was like, this is a waste of time, really, because I don't know. I think someone said to me, "What's it about?" Though I think it was my mum. She was like, "Yeah, but what's it about?" And I was like, "Oh, I don't actually know, Mum. Just messing around." So, I think that's important. You know, like build out your sort of pillars of content beforehand, whether it's short or long form content, and just know who's going to. I think when you're like, I just think just a person, and you're on YouTube and you're making videos and stuff, do what you want. Like, I don't care. I don't think anyone will care. Like, just make your own stuff. But when you start to like build your personal brand, and you start to build your own business in particular, you're making content for your business, I think it's usually important that you've got to like determine your target audience in a sense. Like, and what we mean by this is like, when you're a personal brand just making YouTube videos, like I strongly believe make what you want, because if you don't, you're not passionate about it, you don't enjoy doing it, you're not going to continue to do it. But when you start to then think about it as a career, and it's maybe like eating into like, oh, should I leave and go work for myself and make YouTube my career, or if it's your business and that's what you're doing, like at some point in time, you've got to think about the financial aspect. And I think, the message is the most important thing. Like, so figuring out what you're really trying to achieve with this video, you know, and I think most of the time, 99% of the time, and that should be the ratio, 99% to 1% should be giving value and helping people now, and the 1% should be trying to take what you deem as yours. I think as soon as you get into the realms of like 50-50 even, it's not going to work out for you. And what I mean by this is like, and this is basic video, in my opinion, basic video content, like give value and help people like all the time. And then 1% of the time, if you're making 100 videos, and one video out of that whole lot will be a video where you're like a bit of a call to action, or like even a promo saying like what you do. That's just my opinion. It's just what I see much more like trending now, in terms of like, as soon as people feel like you're trying to sell them, it's sort of game over, I feel. And if you can do that alongside decent quality audio and lighting, then you're going to do okay, I think.
I agree with what you said there. I think there's like levels to it. Obviously, if you're just creating videos as like a YouTuber, for example, I feel like you don't really. I feel like with a YouTuber, I can't remember who said it. It might have been Mr. Beast or someone like that. Just pick up a camera and make a video. Don't matter like kind of like the quality of it, which I agree with as well. But when it comes to like brand and business, I think that's when you start bringing in the levels of professionalism. Like you were saying there about like having like a clear message, and then obviously like knowing your target audience. I feel like that comes into play with it. And then obviously you mentioned like a call to action. I feel like that's important in videos, and I don't think I really understood that until like coming into video editing myself. How important a call to action is. I just feel like you can really enjoy a video, and then if there's just something like coming up right towards the end or at the end, it's just a great way to finish that video and then lead that person to whatever your call to action is, whether that be buying something, sending them to another like site, sign up to something, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I like all that kind of stuff. And yeah, like on the personal level, being authentic, using humor, emotion. We spoke about this before, like with emotion. They're like I broke that into like many levels there, but like I think they're like, there's like a kind of level entry for each thing that you're doing. Brand a business is probably more in depth. If you're just looking to create like YouTube videos that have humor, you probably start off just doing the basics. You'll pick up a camera, whether that be like your phone or something like really easy. And then the more you develop and the more you build as maybe an influencer or like a brand business, then that's when all the quality start coming in into that.
For sure. So talking about businesses then, like what sort of common mistakes do we see them make when they're making video content?
Again, we spoke about it, quality. I think like a lot of companies neglect that sometimes. I don't always think that that's the most important thing, but I do think that a lot of businesses neglect it a lot of the time. Also, like focusing too much on like your self-promotion side of things.
Right.
I've seen it a lot, and I think we spoke about this as well. When you're like scrolling through on, for example, TikTok, and you see something that is just so ads. What's the word for it? It's just an ad. You know, it's an ad popping up, and there's so much gone into like them talking about themselves. And as like a potential customer, I've lost interest in that because you haven't indulged me into your video. And I think it goes back to like hooks as well. Like hooks are a massive thing that every video should have. And I feel like if you're trying to maybe sell something or get someone to sign up, a business kind of thing, the hook is the most important thing to grab that viewer or potential customer, and it should be about them. It shouldn't be about yourself. Like it should be completely about the customer, potential customer.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Self-promote. Focusing too much on self-promotion is like one of the common mistakes, I think.
I completely agree there. And it's like we said a moment ago, like we see it so many times. It's like when you start making videos, I've got a product. When you start making videos and I have a service or whatever, and it's just like all about you. An example of this would be like brick and mortar business, right? Boom. You've got a gym, great. So instead of like going into your gym and showing, every single bit of equipment that you've got in there, it's interesting to your gym members already, right? Like that's one thing I would say. If I was a member of a gym, and they were like showing me like the new equipment that they've got, I'm like, oh, that's cool. Or if they were doing like something, but I think what would be really much more beneficial, and this is where a lot of like fitness influencers do, I think maybe like a gym owner going in and just being like, right, this is how to use this machine, for example, or like this is how to do this exercise, or it's how to burn fat, or like, they're looking at that going, right, well, how is that selling my gym? But it is like, because the more that you bring that, like show that to people are going, shit, this is a cool gym. Like, where's this? And then, they're like, well, this seems like a cool guy. He's giving me loads of like really good, it could be a cool girl as well. They're giving me loads of good information, and I want to be around that person. I want to pay that person money for my membership. Or like if you want to think out the box even more, you could go and you could interview people that are coming into your gym. Like walk up to them as they're doing their final rep of the bench press, and then be like, give them a bit of motivational encouragement, spot them, that could be quite cool. And then after just being like, so what are you benching? Like, is this your PB? What is your fitness goals? What are you working on? What are you eating in the minute? How many calories? Like all these things, right? And again, someone would be like, well, how the fuck is that sound on the gym? But it is gonna, like in time, Like
Yeah.
people are just going to be like, this is such a great dude. Like, you know, his gym looks really cool. He's setting up a good atmosphere. I want to be a part of that.
Yeah.
And even if you've got a product, you know, we've seen it so many times, like street interviews and stuff like that. People are too focused heavily on the product or the service or the thing that they've got going on to then think out the box and go, how could we bring value? And value doesn't have to be education. Value can be entertainment as well. And how can we bring that to our potential audience? And that then in turn is going to grow our brand. And I think, yeah, it's definitely the biggest thing we see. We've had it so many times. It's with people.
So it's basically not considering their target audience in a sense with what you're saying. It's like you need to understand who your audience is in a sense.
Yeah,
I find a lot of brands and stuff do really well lately of like making it entertainment as well. Yes. I don't always agree with it, but I think it's a good way to do things. You connect with the audience, and it's what they want to see. Like it's great if you're a business or a brand trying to sell things, but you have to try and do it in the right way without coming across too business style. It works sometimes, but not all the time.
No, I agree. Yeah, like, and I think keeping it simple as well is another thing. Just to touch on it there, like before we get away from it, just, you know, we see it again, like, and it's just trying to like confuse things, and it's just like, yeah, just keep it simple. Like, you know, all you effectively need just to reference the gym guy. I don't want to go who's going around his gym giving advice or interviewing people. All you need is like the font that you have in your front door. So it's like on brand. People go on about it so much. It needs to be on brand, and you know, it has to be. We're a business, we're a brand, and it has to be. It really does has to. The amount of times and arguments, not even arguments, that sounds bad, but the amount of times I've tried to get across the message of, you don't need it to have like what do you want? I don't understand. Like, you know, we're putting this out now, and it's just going to have our color and font. Like, that's as on brand as it needs to be. Your messaging and stuff has to be clear, and that's where you really have to work on yourself and your tone of voice and what you're trying to convey. But ultimately, the video is like just your font, the font colors that you use. You know, that's as much as you need. You don't have to be putting in your logo every video, because again, that becomes too salesy. Yeah. You don't have to be putting in, you know, a call to action on the end of every video telling people what you are, what you do, what you're selling. You don't need all that. That doesn't mean it's on brand. Like on brand for me should be, you've seen that video once, you've came across that brand, you've interacted with it, and then for the rest of eternity, it pops up in your feed. You know who that is, and that's going to be down to you or your presenter that you have, and it's going to be down to the fonts and colors that you use and the way you actually go about creating your content. It doesn't have to be
in a sense. You just need.
Go on.
Yeah, I think like just to interrupt you there. I think like just you just need that like kind of one connection in a sense. Like you say, the font. Like everyone knows you from your font and the color. Yeah. Like I know you're a big fan of him, Alex Hermosi. Yeah. But when I've seen loads of videos now about people talking about his editing styles, and they'll just say, "Oh yeah, like I use the Hermosi text." Yeah. Like and everyone just connects. Yeah. Yeah. It's everyone absolutely just connects with it. Like like I never really knew who he was until like I come across you. Really, like you're a bit of a fanboy, really. Yeah, like now you would say to me, "Oh, like we're going to use Hermosi style text for this video." Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I understand that because I've already made that one connection. Exactly. And I think it's just being known for something is really important to get on brand. I think again we've sort of like gone off topic here, but just like I would consider it, you know, basic. Like to go back to it all, I think, basic, you know, just basically just use your font, use a color, don't overthink it, keep it simple, try to think out the box. Yeah. And you won't be too far away. Just please stop the promotional stuff. Stop trying to make a sale on every video. Like, give your audience something first, give people something for free. Not everything should have to be a financial transaction. I know you're a business, but like it doesn't have to be. Get out of the habit of like thinking everything is a transaction. Like you do have to do some stuff for free.
to get to where you want to go. So
Yeah.
and you'll reap the rewards like at some point.
Yeah, I've seen examples of that as well online. There's like, I mean, I've been learning Spanish this year, and before I actually bought a course, I was doing like these TikTok videos. There was a couple of people that I followed, and they would just do basic like words and phrases, and it was entertaining because they didn't come across as a brand or a business. And then when I like went onto their page and was following them, I realized they had their own course.
Yeah.
And it was so like, I don't know, I don't want to say shocked, like as if I was shocked like watching a movie or something.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I
it
know what
shocked
you
me
mean.
because it just seemed like they was doing it for fun because they knew, but it was like a nice little way to lure me in to then go to the link, go get a course. Like it really works.
But you do have to understand here, like you do have to have good intentions too. Like I'm not saying, oh, just do all this for free and just give away all this value and then expect something in return.
Nah.
You know, think of it like a favor.
Yeah.
Like you have got knowledge and you've got to really develop the mindset of, I'm going to give away so much information and value for nothing. And if something comes of it, then great.
Yeah.
Like if you do it for long enough and you do it good enough, something will come of it. Like that's a fact. But the point here is like, I'm not trying to like condone flyness or like slyness or whatever term you want to use, where it's like, you know, just do it like this, and then, you know, ultimately, you know, what the end goal is though, you're really trying to get, you know, stuff from people, like, you know, like really genuinely deep in your heart, like want to help people, like want to teach people Spanish, want to help people in the gym, want to help, you know, fix their form and avoid their injury or limit the amount of obese people out in the world, like whatever your mission is, you know, really bring that value in a good way, and then you will reap the rewards for that, because people see through bullshit now. Like, you know, if you're not a genuine person, it's not going to work out for you.